Hi, I'm Haida. I am so excited to be sitting down with you. I have just returned from an amazing trip in Taipei where my sister and I were given this rare, one-of-a-kind experience to learn all of the ropes of fashion photography thanks to PhotoVogue in collaboration with Vogue Taiwan. So it was 5 days of photography workshop and also assignments and tasks and reviews that participants were given access to learn from, to make exchanges from, and also to kind of sharpen their skills. And when I saw the itinerary that my sister received from the people at PhotoVogue, I was very intrigued because it was a lot more in touch with my side of things as a fashion stylist or a fashion image maker. And it felt like it really touched base on the things that I really wanted to find out that I haven't had access to living in Malaysia or in Dubai. And therefore, I told her that, great, I am going to be joining you. I wanted to learn and document all of these things so that I can impart the knowledge back to you guys. So just a brief introduction about how we got into this and how you can also in the future get into this. It's basically a platform that they provided for any artists around the world. They initially started off as only for fashion photography, but they've expanded it to include a more diverse set of genres of photography that is very artistic, that is very unique to the intrinsic value or storytelling of each of the photographers and image makers that submitted their work. And this platform also allowed them to be connected to, to get their work commissioned. You can work with Vogue commercial partners, and it's also an archive. It works as an archive for PhotoVogue for artists. So they can showcase their work worldwide, to be seen worldwide, and also because it has the Vogue title attached to it, you know that it has that kind of prestige to it. And it requires you to be shortlisted to be part of the PhotoVogue community, and that's exactly how my sister got into this. So she is a performance artist, and she's also a visual artist, and her work commonly revolves around the Muslim women and her challenges and her hurdles of becoming one in this modern world, and how she is navigating through that via images. And one of the events or photo calls that they open was to focus, I think the title was Women by Women. So when she applied into this, thinking that, this is like 100,000 people who also applied for this, she was shortlisted by members of the Condé Nast team to be part of this amazing exhibition that they did in Milan. So we were invited to go and check out the special panel talks, to network with all of these amazing photographers, meet the greats. I think my sister met Zanelli, and see panel talks, and also get to meet the person behind PhotoVogue, Alicia Glaviano, directly. And all of this experience was usually a once a year thing, and somehow we didn't think that it will go any further, because obviously it will probably just be another year where they're going to do a different kind of theme of doing PhotoVogue events. So imagine my surprise when my sister texted me and said that she received a special invitation from PhotoVogue as she was selected by the Condé Nast team to go to the special photography workshop held in Taiwan by Vogue Taiwan. And my sister is the only Malaysian artist selected to join this, I would say the only Malaysian artist that's invited to join this amazing experience. And she told me, since fashion photography or fashion itself is more my thing, she thought, why don't I join in and see if I could actually document the whole experience. This entire trip is not sponsored by PhotoVogue. What they did was they helped make it easier to give us discounts to book certain hotels, and they gave us suggestions on where to get places to stay and all that. So we had to pay to get there. So this is not a cheap endeavor, but I felt, since I can do it, and if I can get this valuable experience that I've never had anywhere in my lifetime as a stylist, I was willing to invest in money to get there. Also, for the fact that I saw this itinerary that my sister shared with me. So this was amazingly done by the team from in Vogue Taiwan. They've compiled this comprehensive itinerary of like what is to expect at this residency. I also have to tell you that this is the first time that they've done anything like this. This is the first official PhotoVogue sort of like residency that they did, and focusing on fashion photography. Obviously they want to work with a big fashion magazine, Vogue Taiwan. I've heard so many good things about Taiwanese people and how their work ethic is amazing and their kindness and all that, and this is the first proof of that. So participants were given this kind of itinerary, what's to expect on all the 5 days. So far, the first day is focused on this exchange and talk with, and also introductory explanation about what they're going to be doing with Leslie and Zhonglin. And the second day is an on-set demonstration with some of the best photographers, stylists, makeup artists that work with Vogue Taiwan to see how they conduct their own shoots and also provide insight on that. Third day was more or less about actually conducting the assignment. Fourth day is the special review with Leslie's, because we're going to do the final showcase at the end of the fifth day, where all of the participants are asked to present their work. So throughout all 5 days, all within this, I'm going to let you guys know as we go. So this is going to be quite a heavy topic. Day one, I am horrendously jet lagged. Obviously, this first day was very, very interesting for me because it's an exchange between Leslie Sun, who is the Vogue editor-in-chief of Vogue Taiwan, and she's also the APAC director. I think she was managing like 3 different titles, and also Zhonglin, who is a Malaysian photographer who had spread her wings and made herself become into this behemoth of a fashion photographer, and the amazing talent that she has showcased onto her works, like working with Perfect Magazine, working with big stylists like Katie Grand, biggest supermodels with biggest ad campaigns. So she, like I said, was the blueprint, and I wanted to get all this insight from her, how she did it, how she navigated herself through things that are very, very tricky, especially when compromising with clients and all of that, and how the environment that she was in or is in that helped her thrive in the scene. All of that are the things that I am ready to sit down and listen, and both me and my sister are just really, really keen for this session. We were told to go to this bougie department store in Taipei called Bella Vita, and the event is being held on the basement, where there's a gallery space being that's available there. We went straight down there. I think it was about 11 a.m. to get ourselves registered, and then we met the Vogue Taiwan team, and one of them is Anita. She will be mentioned a lot in this video, and we are being ushered to go and see the works of some of these photographers, talented photographers from all around Asia that are being posted on these boards. And my sister's work is there too, so we were obviously taking pictures for documentation purposes. So the first part of this is obviously the exchange between Zhonglin and Leslie. Apparently they have a very, very cool working and perhaps personal relationship that they've established with each other. And I think that's very important for creatives to be able to have this kind of like powerful network, to see that someone who is emotionally helping you, pushing you to get to the level that you needed to be at, and also believing in your own vision. So this exchange between her and Zhonglin was so insightful for me and my sister, especially for me trying to relay back to my fashion experience and seeing if there's anything that I could do to improve myself or perhaps even pivot myself. So I'm going to share you all these nuggets right here. Bear with me because it's a lot. First lesson that I learned from her is obviously being able and willing to sacrifice certain things. And I think in this case, it is about trying to leave whatever that's familiar for you and really take a risk and a chance and go abroad or go to different places that will definitely perhaps push you to work even harder, to perfect your art or craft even harder, and that was exactly what she did. There's a lot of sacrifice in the sense of also trying to meet halfway with creatives in the beginning. Obviously, when you're trying to make a name out of yourself with a creative brief and whatnot. So for Zhonglin, she understood that this was the game, and there are blood, sweat, and tears as she was climbing up this ladder, and there are moments where she did not like what she had presented, but these are things that put food on the table. These are things that actually help fund her other creative ventures. So she had to sacrifice a lot of that to get to the top. Is that Zhonglin herself, as I kind of suspected, because she seems so fluid and so organic in the way that she did her work, is that she does not do or approach photography from a technical perspective. In fact, she explained to us that she hated the technicalities of photography, and she understood that this is a weakness of hers, or like something that she knew that she not have the upper hand on. So her advice was that when you realize that you have this kind of lack about you, you actually branch out and grow another limb. And in this case, she hired her partner, very good at commanding lighting and all of this technical aspect of, set lighting and production and all that, in order for her to be able to capture the images that she wants. And this was also iterated by another photographer when I went through this workshop, which I will explain later on day 3. So that was really a cool concept that I feel a lot of creatives should also employ, whether they are as a stylist, where they needed someone who can do certain styling things, or makeup artists who couldn't achieve certain things. If they collaborated with someone who could understand this, it will make your work greater. As you are building your craft, Zhonglin also explains that she was very dedicated about her art form. She came to realize as soon as she has started to make her name, as soon as she started to get a lot of interest from people and larger clients who wanted to work with her, because she had worked so well on creating this creative identity of hers, people only want to hire her because of that. So she told us, like, if there's any rejection that comes about or misalignment at work, she said don't even bother on even trying to pursue that. Work on the things that you believe align with you, or align with your values, or perhaps something that you feel could work you to become a better creator. If you knew Zhonglin's work, you know that she does or she did the project 365 during COVID, and this was a very stressful time for her. So she decided to take the initiative of putting herself into this project, which she called Project 365, where every single day for about a year, she committed into producing visuals. And it doesn't matter what kind of visuals, she just have to promise herself to show up and deliver the creative outlet. And the takeaways that I got from her explaining about this project is that allowed her to show up every single day. Doesn't matter if she has a stylist or not, if it's a simple backdrop shoot, set shoot, or whatever, or if it's a very beautiful, intricate one. There's no meaning to each one of these. It's just a matter of like producing the images that she wanted. And having that discipline of showing up, I think, trains your brain psychologically, mentally, physically, to overcome certain hurdles and battles when you are on set. I remember days when I did not want to be on set, or days that I don't like a certain brief, but it's a matter of like just being there and being present. And that was one of the takeaways that she got from the project. When she started working and getting projects, a lot of the clients actually refer back to her previous work with Project 365 as a reference to do it for their ad campaigns. She mentioned that for one instance, when she was doing the campaign for Equinox, she could able to extract the images that she made for Project 365 to be put on the campaign for Equinox, and then she made it her own. So at the end of the day, because of her dedication to do the project, she also inadvertently created this archive of images and references that is truly uniquely hers, that she was able to show to their clients. Someone asked if agency representation is something of an importance for her, and she said yes. She said that she absolutely hated having to crunch numbers, having to negotiate payment and all that. So being under the watchful eye and grace of an agency helps her to navigate this better, because all she needs to do is just to focus on the work itself. When you want to make it in the scene, never doubt yourself, and don't ever have this defeatist mindset, and never give up, essentially. She worked really hard to get up there. It's not pure luck, basically. It was something that she truly earned to get to the top. And she also painted this instance where when she was trying to do the shoot with some of the biggest names in the industry. She worked with the best supermodel, the best makeup artist, best hairstylist, best set assistant, best client, all of this. But when she saw the brief or the way that things are set up and the way that the model was being made up, she did not like it. So she got really upset and she stepped out of the set outside, and I think she mentioned that she was either crying or on the verge of tears because she absolutely hated what was going on and she felt like she didn't have that sense of control of the shoot. This was quite a pivotal moment for me when she explained that there is this one set assistant, a famous, respected, revered set assistant who stepped out and saw her in this position. She talked to him about it and said like, I feel a little bit like I'm out of my mojo and I don't feel like I feel this, the vibe of the set and all that. And this guy, who's been in the industry again for years, just simply said, like, you are the photographer, you are the boss of this enterprise, go ahead and command it. So immediately she kind of like switched up, like had that light bulb moment and went straight back in and told nicely, obviously, to all of these people who were part of the team to change the wardrobe a little bit, to change the makeup, and they were all so accommodating. And she said that, there are moments in time when you are allowed to make your stand your ground, to make your thoughts known. And this is not necessarily a diva thing, but it's more or less about owning the creative integrity of how you want things to be done. Obviously, it comes in a certain setting, but because she's Zhonglen, she has established this commanding presence in the art world, in the fashion photography world. She had a strong sense of how her vision works, and she's very insistent on that. And being able to have that power, meaning that you have to own it and also communicate with the rest of the team on getting the things to do what you wanted. So I loved hearing that altogether because I felt like, this industry can be so stifling and so limiting. But once you are in a place, especially in the highest hierarchy of fashion, where everyone is sort of working on a fluidity basis, they love and embrace risk, and you deserve it when you are in a place where embracing risk feels safe. And that is where she is right now, and I wish to break away from that mold too, and I hope the same for you guys. But let's face it, when you are able to take on these risks, when you stand your own ground, magic really does happen. The other important thing that I got from this is the importance of having the right collaborators. Establish your connection with the right people, because these are the people who are going to save you time. And with time, when you save time, you save a lot of money. She explained to us one example when she was doing the cover for Vogue Taiwan, the heatwave cover, the beautiful cover, which involves a lot of set or props making, a lot of location scouting. Showed her brief, and I think immediately a lot of her peers understood what she wanted, and they cut back on the amount of time that she would have to do to find all these places, to create all these props, to create these looks, because they are able to understand what she wanted, and these are experts or people who know what they're doing. So when it comes to explaining her creative process, it's quite straightforward. The first thing that she said is when she received a brief or from a project from a client, she would give it a name to make it more personal so that she can really pour herself into it. And the one thing that I loved about her when she was saying that how she do her research is that she doesn't do editorial references. She doesn't go and look at other model images or any Pinterest, editorial Pinterest images or whatnot. Anything that's ready-made, she tries to avoid. In fact, what she would do is that she would find inorganic or organic inspiration. It could be the mountain, it could be a rock, it could be like water or any other things that she find that is not related to the fashion references at all, because she felt like she's able to carve up a whole different story from that one image alone. That's the thing that she used, because in the cover of Heatwave, where there's this model who holds a popsicle, she actually took that inspiration from a popsicle that she saw somewhere, and she decided to kind of like use that back for the cover and the narrative of the cover story for Vogue Taiwan, which ended up to be very super original and very impressive. And the next step would probably be communicating this with a client, and she makes sure that all communications are in line, that she's direct and everyone is clear about what they wanted to do, and then she just kind of executed. So that is what I've got from the scene. I'm pretty sure I missed a few things that I might end up in point form in between, because as I was presenting this, I don't really have a note with me. I was just kind of like pulling it out from my brain, but that was the takeaways and the nuggets of information that I got from that panel talk. While we're having lunch, served by the Vogue Taiwan team, we've had a really nice bubble tea and hello Din Tai Fung box lunch, which was fantastic, crazy. Then we head on straight for my sister to do her portfolio reviews. So while I was out shopping with myself and really just mooching around the Zongshan area of the hotel, she went on to stay back because they were meant to be segregated into 4 groups of people because they have a photography assignment happening for them. I think it's gonna be on the 3rd day. Yes, they were going to do a photography assignment on the 3rd day, and that means that they are going to be separated into 4 different teams so that they're able to plan on the timings. And part of this photography assignment was that they are going to work with friggin' like designer samples, and my sister has been put into the Balenciaga group. That means that her and her team members or people in that group are working with like designer samples. So as a stylist, that is unheard of, for something like like a workshop that might have no commercial value back for the brands to even push this for. They were given access to people who are not in the fashion scene to work with. So that was like an unheard of gesture from that part, but I guess they're Vogue Taiwan. They can get away with things. So as they were doing that, I came back and saw, what the samples are that my sister could play with. I kind of helped her out a little bit on selecting some of the pieces, and then went on for rest because the next day it was about seeing how the Vogue Taiwan peeps do their magic. So let's go. So second day, we're up earlier than yesterday. At 10:30, we're supposed to be at the Condé Nast building. They're offering us transportation to the 2 studios where the participants are like segregated into 2 different groups because they can't have all of them in 1 studio. So I think it was Seoul's We and Paise Studio in Seoul We. So we were ushered into a friggin' Mercedes-Benz van. So we felt very bougie in that van, headed towards the studio, which are just right next to each other. And once we arrived, we kind of acclimatized ourselves, just getting ready to be introduced by the amazing team that will be sharing with us this showcase of, this demonstration of photography. So they called this session the Master Workshop. And again, they are working with, the best photographers. So the photographer that was working with us, demonstrating for us, was Troy Wang. He was in the industry for 25 years, and he started as a retoucher and worked, with numerous Vogue covers. So one of the fashion stylists is Joey Lin. He was formerly the stylist for Vogue Taiwan, but then he left and become a freelancer, but is a common contributor to Vogue Taiwan when he needed to be. And the hairstylist was Miley Shen, and the makeup artist was Sunny Xu. It's obviously a lot of them don't speak English. Vogue Taiwan actually prepared a translator for her to explain what's going on. And therefore, when we were there, we were introduced to all these people, and they were giving us the breakdown of how they wanted to conduct this workshop. So from a photography perspective, they are really just trying to show us how you can play with light and how different setting provided a different kind of delivery, how the visuals would be looked like, right? So the first one they tried to do, if you're a fashion person, great. If you don't, you'll probably understand by how I explain this. So there are 4 types of photography style that they are demonstrating. The first one was the Jürgen Teller style. The second one was Paulo Roversi style. The third was Steven Meisel style, and the fourth was Peter Lindbergh style. So each one of these guys, they are actually prominent fashion photographers. You have to study them. There are more of them outside, of course, but I think they have a very distinctive and unique fashion photography about them, and that's why they chose these 4 photographers to demonstrate the different lighting techniques that they offered. From a styling perspective, they wanted to focus on one one subject or object, which was the blazer. It would be styled like a 90s style of fashion styling, basically. So they've explained that, the whole idea of how these two things will gel together. So at least that there's like a cohesion in the storyline of what they're saying while they're demonstrating these to us. As a person who sometimes dabbles into photography but not officially, I want to learn, because I have all of these things in this is like my little mini studio here that I experiment at times. I'm not a lighting master. I am basically purely instinctual, and I think it's the same with this photographer too. But he has all of these like amazing set assistants and lighting assistants that just kind of scurry around when he says, okay, do this, and then they just kind of demonstrate it, like how they align the lights. So the first one was Jürgen Teller, which is very straightforward, and they had, while the model was doing hair and makeup, they did the set, the chair, and then the wallpaper, fall wallpaper vibe that they did for the set. And the way that he put this lighting stand, I'm sorry, I did not know the photography jargon for it, and I thought that it was purely like flash photography, but now I realize that they required like another lighting assistant to kind of do that flash for them. So even Troy, while he was trying to figure out how he wanted to do this, he was experimenting. And this is an established photographer. He was trying to get the gist until the right shot or mood is being achieved. And of course, this is what they do when people are warming up to shoots, right? Trying to set the scene to get the lighting that they wanted. And when the model stepped out, I believe she was in Louis Vuitton, in this like really tweed or boucle, I'm sorry, like the jacket that she came out with, and she was beautifully styled. I like that the stylists and the hairstylist and the makeup artist understood how the lighting works and what kind of makeup would help promote that sort of like light work. It was very minimal, but at the same time, there are accents onto her that really just worked alongside the style of photography. And this is so important. Again, emphasis on the importance of having a good team. Pay for a good team to create these visuals, or collaborate with someone who you believe in that could create these visuals, right? So once that started, he was explaining to us about how to get certain angles, and he was also saying, getting to understand what the client wants. And so he was just shooting about. I don't know if I'm missing any points here, but basically I was just sitting there taking all these pictures and videos and learning along the way on how these people are getting their shots done. So once that first shot was done, I believe we took a quick break. Honestly, we didn't get to try a lot of Taiwanese food here because some of them are non-halal, and actually a lot of them are non-halal, but I did try a few ones that are so freaking amazing. Love their bubble teas. That was an experience of lunch again. Thank you again, Vogue Taiwan, for sharing with us your culture through food. Amazing. So the other section is my favorite section, which is the Paulo Roversi style of photography. And while he was explaining to us like what he wanted to achieve, the stylist went on to change the model and change the makeup and the entire set, backdrop and stuff. So even the lighting is changed. They dim the entire studio. And once the model stepped up, I immediately know like I'm gonna love this editorial, because this shot, at least because I felt like, this is gonna be good. And it was good. Like, she stepped up in this beautiful two-silk hair. And again, because of the light brief that was given to create the Paulo Roversi type of shot, the emphasis is played, like they make sure to focus on having little accents that might show up in the shots. So they put on this like little glittery like eyeshadow on her, very minimal, like probably like what do you call it, like a bruised lip style of a lipstick, and very like there's not a lot that is involved onto it when it looks like, but it really does lift this model's aura. We met the model earlier, but when she changed into these clothes, we were just like, oh yeah, that's why she's been selected for this. That's why she's a Vogue Taiwan model, because she delivered. And again, working with models is so different than working with influencers or celebrities, because they know their shit. And this is why you pay models than paying normal people to model for your clothes. You're saving time, and especially for such a difficult brief like this, where when you're playing with slow shutter speed, it really does matter about how you move to make sure that the right shots are being captured, or how the clients want the clothes not to be too blurry. You can still see the details of the clothing to be seen on camera, because after all, they want their stuff to be sold, right? So there's all of this consideration that the model was given brief on, and as they were climbing up ladders, trying to use like this lighting apparatus to do like these trails of light and do a slow shutter speed, and it was about setting the moment and sitting there and making the magic happen. And it was so otherworldly seeing that in front of you, being despite having done so many editorials and stuff, it was just like, my jaw was like, yeah, that's why it's so good. I also took this opportunity to ask them, bluntly, because obviously, like I asked earlier with some clients, they do not want you to not show their clothes. He was kind enough to explain that, it really is about the relationship with the client, and sometimes the clients that you have is so important for you to be able to understand the artistry that you're trying to deliver. With Vogue Taiwan and most of the other Vogues that I've read here, it's not so much about selling clothes, it's about selling a fantasy. It's like putting a story behind the editorials and images that they make, and that is something that I truly believe in. Like, I want to embody that fantasy too. So if I want to embody that fantasy, I want to buy that clothes to make the fantasy real. And a lot of the people here in this environment so far that I've seen was able to understand that they allow them to be artistic with and take the I pilot this to make it into something beyond something that is just purely commercial. So the third one would be Steven Meisel, and with Steven Meisel, I noticed that a lot of it is more focused on the movement of the subject or the styling of the subject. He just works on emphasizing those all the little details that would put that forward. And with Steven Meisel, when the model came out, I was I was shocked, because I've done similar styling with that, and obviously it's very Dhan coded. My sister plays with a lot of layers and quirky manipulations of fabric, but when they did that onto like friggin' designer stuff, like I think they were playing with Loewe jackets with Louis Vuitton blazers as a skirt, and one's being turned into like a coned bra of sorts. Like for a workshop, there's this whole taboo about putting different different brands together for one look. So I asked this with the stylist, saying that, are you allowed to do that? And he said, well, yeah, because, we're Vogue Taiwan, obviously. But of course, they said that, depending on the brief, they can do that. And for this, they are given the creative freedom to showcase the power of photography even more. And I love that. I just love that. That is like that. It kind of reminds us of Lila Moss. This set in particular, as a stylist, makes me feel so refreshed, because there are moments when I felt like, yeah, like this is not really a styling per se. Like, you won't see people wearing this out on the streets, but it's the whole concept about how clothes really can change the whole perspective of what it's meant to be, and seeing how the stylists were like struggling to make sure that they stay in place, and the model can be seen a little bit comfortable, but she just works with no complaints. Also worth noting that there were 3 different stylists working on set. There's one main stylist that's curating the experience, and the others are just polishing it, making sure it doesn't fall down, making sure that it stays in place, making sure that it looks good on camera. I wish that I have enough budget when I do shoots to employ assistants to be my second or third eye, so they have that access to this. This is like a whole big team of like, I would say 15 people, 20 people, of trying to make this images work alone. And this is not including us as the participants, which were 18 people, plus the Vogue Taiwan team, not the photography team that was doing all of these stuff. And the shots that came out of it was sublime. It was simple, but that was the ethos of the Steven Meisel photography, is letting the subject speak for themselves, but in his own way.
Traditional technique. This is something that you always see in the studio. Usually in studio, people use flash, but here I'm using continuous light. I work with continuous light quite often, and now continuous light can create something similar to what the flash can create.
So there. The last but not least was the Peter Lindbergh session. And if you're aware of Peter Lindbergh, you know, he's the guy who captured that iconic images of the supers in the 90s in this like black and white or grayscale type of lighting and mood. It is more portraiture centric type of photography. So immediately they moved the set all the way from the inner corners of the cyclorama out to the lighting section, like the natural light section of the studio. And as they were setting it up, they were trying to make it look as if it's like in a construction or scaffolding type of like set. And the models were changing backstage to have this beautiful pinstriped fitted suit with vest by Celine. And it's very 90s, obviously, with that kind of vibe. So she was just, you know, she automatically know the brief. Like, you can see the personalities differ every single style of shoot segment that she delivered. And this one, she knew that to get that Peter Lindbergh mood, she doesn't need to move a lot. She just needs to, like, you know, set herself in this comfortable mode where it's almost nonchalant.
Of a portrait kind of shoot, so it's a bit different from fashion shoot. So I tend to make it more rough.
It's more personality
real.
driven,
Yeah,
know?
that's it.
So they have extended the shooting range to capture the light.
From a master called Peter Linder. So I really like the style. It's more relaxed vibe, if you see from the posture. So it's always female, looking very pretty. And here I look at a lot of the photos taken on the shoot of this master. And it's always he's using this long lens and burst mode. But he shares this very close connection.
That they even have that prop thing that they use to create the effect. This particular one, Troy also repeated back what Zhonglin said. I mean, he wasn't at the talk, but he reconfirmed that you do need a good team. And for a photographer, the best thing that he's ever invested or ever like he would say that make his career that he is today is to have a very good person or team that stays with you loyally to the very like for a very long time, to the very end, I guess. You know, why not? So he emphasized that he has this guy that he was introducing to us, and he was so like magnanimous about it. He was like, "Now this is an important guy in my team. He's been with me since the start, and he is in charge of the set lighting, the set placements, and he knows how the style and the way I work." Very similar to what Zhonglin said earlier in the talk. So what he was saying was that it was very important for you to have this person with you with no goals to become a photographer themselves, because I think a lot of you photographers might realize that sometimes when you get assistants with you, they have the ambition of later on becoming free and, you know, becoming the photographers on their very own right. But he emphasized that it's best that you actually work with someone who don't have these goals, but you pay them well, you offer good incentives so that they can stay and be loyal with you for the long time. And what this person's job is that if there are people who want it to be, you know, who learn about being on set, being set assistants, this is the senior guy that will teach all the junior guys, so that it doesn't take time away from him, so that he had to start all over again to find another set assistant and teach them about how he does his own lighting work and all that. Plus, sometimes clients, it's very hard when you have to work with clients and you're unable to be consistent with how you deliver things. And at least like when he has this one person that works with him, the senior set guy, set designer, set assistant, or whatever you want to call it, lighting person, this guy will know exactly how he want to do it. Again, cutting time, because time is money, and this is a business that requires a lot of time and risk being taken into producing something well. Collaboration and also keeping someone loyally with you, respecting that person and understanding the significance of that person and trying to create that imagery is very, very important. So that was the end of second day, but I had to stay back a little while because my sister and her team members are, I think they were like conversing about how they wanted to do this, arrangement of time, since the next day it will be the photography session that they're going to do. So that was the end of second day. I loved it. We head back home, we rested, and we kind of looked back into my sister's mood board and what she wanted to do for the shoot tomorrow. It was nerve-wracking for her because this is definitely out of her comfort zone, but I'm there for a reason. I am not just a patron, but I'm also a support chaperone where I will be there helping her throughout the way. So let's get to day 3. It's shoot day for both of us. We're headed to the studio. It's Seoul's Wish. So she has a task today where she is going to be styling a look, and she has 45 minutes to shoot her look. I'm gonna be assisting, chaperone. I'm also doing some work, so anyway. But anyway, it'll be quite interesting to see how the other participants use their 45 minutes to deliver their own vision of the shoot. And they're gonna have to present it one of the days in a showcase, so that is a little nerve-wracking, I believe, for some of it, but we're gonna have fun today. So day 3, guys, this is the big day for my sister and a lot of the other participants. It felt very competitive, but it wasn't a competitive event, but I think people were so eager to really shine and to show what they're capable of, because who knows, they might get contacted back for a shoot with Vogue Taiwan. So there's a lot of things that goes on their mind, and I understand why my sister is feeling right now. And they're finally, I think my sister's slot was earlier, the earliest ones in the day, which I love because we would have more time to explore the rest of Taipei afterwards. So we were given this like model selections that she's had earlier, and this is the team members that are going to help make the vision a reality. As you can see, these are like proper people. They were also given like this backdrop selections earlier on, and the chairs or whatever props that they want to use. They have freedom to use anything that they want as long as they convey it on set. So these are not left entirely to them, obviously, and because a lot of these photographers don't have a fashion background, they have this whole team of set assistants, lighting assistants to get whatever they want. They were even given a mentor, which is Chen Yu Chu. We call her Ball Ball. She's actually the fashion managing editor of Vogue Taiwan, and there's also a couple of them, Amber Chen, Avril, all of them are also involved, and they were there to help assist with styling. You tell them what to do, and these greats, these experts will help deliver it to you. So I was just happy observing how the other creatives are doing. So we had 4 people in our team, which was Chen, Chang, my sister, and this amazing Vietnamese photographer called Min. So they all are sharing pretty much the same models. They are sharing the same models, and most of them selected similar samples because I think we all kind of had in the agreement that they are the more standout visions and easier for them to play with styling. So it was very interesting to see throughout the 4 sets. Everyone has this very distinctive visual narrative about how they wanted to present this Balenciaga sample. One of them is doing it this way, and the other one's doing it that way. And even in spite of sharing the same kind of background color and model and makeup, it just works. It's not about looking different. It is about being able to deliver something that is uniquely, truly you. And I also seen some of the photographers from the other studio who's also doing the morning slots, doing their shoots outdoors. I saw them bringing their own props. One of the main photographers in our group was Min. He was an amazing Vietnamese photographer, so flamboyant, so cute. He was having all of these props being done. I think he took like dice, whatever you call it, and strewn them all over. Because he was doing like 3 shots or 2 shots within 45 minutes, which was crazy. He was arranging all of these chairs to put out this effect. The amount of dedication and commitment and strivingness, which is not a word, I know, of doing and delivering the kind of visuals that they wanted was so admirable. Some of them are very chilled, some of them are like so intense, but it's so cool to see this different manifestations of their craft. Props to the stylist assistant. you know, there was no judgment there. It was just really learning from them, because everyone was delivering, you know, different takes, and I was learning from them, you know, watching them from afar. And there's also a culture of collaboration, not just from the Vogue Taiwan team. It's also the other photographers helping, becoming like a test subject or a lighting test, or helping them move things around and all that. It was just really nice to see that, and to see that culture of collaboration thriving within this community. Oh, cute. So we finished all the shots. She was pretty happy with her shot, and we were like sitting down, and I think they had to compile all of that into a portfolio style so that they could present it the next day to Leslie before the final showcase on the final day. And back home, chill, and my sister was just trying to focus on, you know, perfecting her editing of the photos so we can have a Zen night to prepare for the next day, which is going to see Leslie. I have an easy day today, but we have about 7 to 9 hours of really just resting. My sister's back in the room editing photos, because later on today we are presenting the work, the shoot that we did yesterday to Leslie so that she can review. So it's a major deal for us to, you know, show up, and I'm nervous for her, but also very excited to be in the same room with one of the greats. So in the meantime, we are going to go in the metro for some vintage shopping. So it's quite nerve-wracking, I think, because if I were my sister and I really took this, you know, fashion thing, for me, it's even more of an impression for me. I felt like I'm more nervous than she was, because if I were to showcase my work to Leslie, I would be very hard on myself, which I shouldn't. That's not the whole point of this experience, but that's just the thing that you project to yourself because you want to impress someone like Leslie. And Leslie will be giving her time today for about 2 hours. Yeah, so 2 hours to sit down with each of the participants to talk about their stuff, edit their stuff out, so that they can prepare all the materials to present on the last day. Because I think those materials will be given to PhotoVogue, perhaps to be featured in the magazine. You know, who knows? We actually finally get to go into the Vogue Taiwan office at that day. And I think my sister and I arrived at about 5 p.m. and we head on up into the infamous elevator, where apparently that's where Anna Wintour took a shot of her OOTD while she was in Taiwan. And then we ushered ourselves into the Vogue office. Coming into the office from my, like, you know, it brings back a lot of memories. And Anita was kind enough to show me around the office to explain, you know, the team, what does she do, what are her roles. This is Anita, the person who made everything like happen. What is your official title, by the way?
I'm editorial project.
Editorial projects manager, or like, oh, amazing. So this is Anita. She was telling to me about how she used to start as a assistant to Leslie, and she was saying to us that because this was the very first PhotoVogue experience, she actually campaigned for it to be done her way, and that she wanted to manage this event herself. But she was telling me about how she thrives in this environment, and I feel like that's the vibe that I got entirely from the office itself. So they have 150 people like working in this office for Vogue and GQ, and they have a huge PR department, marketing department. They have PR, I think I said that, but they have quite a big team, and they have like meeting rooms here named after popular fashion cities. And that, yeah, brings back memories. I was brought back to my days working in magazines in Malaysia. For me, it was the golden age of magazines, because that's when we had some form of stability, we had some form of prestige even back then, because now with print being a dying thing, it's really difficult for people in the industry to maintain that sense of reverence anymore, because a lot of it's been transferred to content creators and influencers, which is not a bad thing. But I feel like why magazines or titles like Vogue Taiwan is still thriving is because they put artistry and the authoritativness of their know-hows. You know, they are the benchmark, the prestige of the industry. So while we are all in the office, of course, we took a few shots. And it was so much fun while people were going in, showing their stuff to Leslie, getting this insight, a one-on-one insight from Leslie, you know, personally, and we were just having fun, taking pictures. Anita joined in, and then my sister went in to get her reviews done. It was very short and sweet. She was the last person to go in, and then we got on home, had a good rest, probably visited a few bookshops, had a good food, and rested because she has a big presentation, final showcase tomorrow at the PhotoVogue final showcase event. So it's the final day, and I'm feeling actually very melancholic. I did not want this to end, and the same goes with my sister. We were told to go to this cute little wine cellar bar called Miao Dong in the Da'an district, and over there is where they conduct the final showcase and presentation of all the works that's being done after being edited, and that was the day that they're finally going to show what they're made of. So this really cute cellar place had this like little nice spread. Again, thank you Vogue Taiwan for giving us the opportunity to learn about your food. We had like really nice mapo tofu. I've never had mapo tofu before. I've heard about it on my reels, but I've had a serving of this beautiful mapo tofu dish with like Szechuan sauce and like rice, which is like, I'm literally like, my mouth is watering as I was saying it. Beautiful, nice winter melon salads, chestnut that's like deep fried. And while we're all getting acquainted, you know, talking with each other, really get to know each other, because it's a smaller space now. Everyone's like you have no other choice but to actually talk to each other. So it's nice to like have a talk to them. And while they're setting up, you know, finally Anita made the opening what do you call a statement to get the showcase started.
Thank you for flying. I did not know how things were going to turn out.
Very good job.
I was so thrilled to see, you know, such excellent work. You know, it's really such an honor. No matter what you get. Let's start. Thank you so much.
So the showcase started, and Leslie gave a beautiful speech about not this being a competition. It's just a place where they welcome any like ideas. There are no bad ideas, there are no terrible ideas. You work on the capacity that you're able to deliver to. We got to see what everyone else was doing, and they were really, really impressive. It doesn't matter where they're from, everyone has a very different take to the to the style of photography, and how they kind of come out with the stories of these clothes. And most of them did not look like fashion photography. They actually look like works of art. And when they were explaining it, we can see now throughout all of the pictures being shown that none of them are similar, none of them are the same. And you know, some of them focus more on styling, like my sister, because for her, she sees the subject, the model, as a sculpture itself, or the art itself, while the others actually see photography as a medium to communicate this culture, art itself, right? And it's so nice to hear these stories being presented. Nobody was trying to impress anyone. Everyone was simply there to tell a story. And some of the stories are so impactful, and you know, the props they were using and how they were able to capture multiple images within like 45 minutes was a mind-blowing thing for me. I learned so much from them. Added to that, you know, Leslie, you know, as I ended this whole storytelling medium, Leslie was fantastic throughout with her way of approaching the subjects. She was so open. Talked is very encouraging to the creatives. She finishes off by saying that everyone who had doubts, you know, they shouldn't have any doubts of themselves, because obviously they were chosen for a reason. They were selected by people from the best, you know, from Condé Nast, from Vogue, to come here and to experience this, to expand their knowledge, and that there's already faith and trust in how awesome that you are as a creative. So she completely insistent on that, and she made sure that hopefully that we cross paths again. I'm pretty sure I missed all the other nuggets that she was saying. Shout out to Anita if you're watching this. I hope Vogue Taiwan keeps you in there for a very long time. The Vogue Taiwan team, in fact, altogether, the stylists and all that, they were very cooperative. They were very open to communication. There's no bad question. There's no terrible question. There's no simple question. They were there to answer all of our questions and insights, and able to share feedbacks back. They were they were giving us the space for us to be ourselves. I made friends. I can't wait to meet all of these people. Some of them have called me sister. Some of them, have, given me the titles hugs, invited us to their home countries, and likewise. This is the exact thing that I wanted from this experience, being able to exchange and network and see that there are other people out there like us who probably have doubts, probably have defeatist mindsets, who probably are afraid to venture out to the unknown. And this whole experience allowed us to be more comfortable in welcoming the unknown, or perfecting the craft. So if you want to be part of the community, go join PhotoVogue. And not just PhotoVogue, there are tons of other residencies and positions and places that will allow you to be seen. I think a lot of creatives in Malaysia have limited themselves so much in their own little minute bubble. They really need to expand themselves out of that spectrum and try out something new. But thank you so much for watching. I hope I don't offend anyone. I have only good things to say about my entire experience, and I hope that we get to see you more soon for more educational, informational experiences that I have through either my travels or my work experiences like this with PhotoVogue. Thank you so much. See you guys on the next one. Done all 5 days with PhotoVogue. Very, very sad actually to leave that, because we've got such a good vibe from the people in the scene, in the industry, and we actually felt kind of heavy-hearted leaving it, because that was how much of an experience for both of us, especially for her, learning a lot of new things, getting out of your comfort zone. This was such an amazing experience altogether. I hope that we can somewhat do the same thing in Kuala Lumpur or anywhere else. So stay tuned, and also let us hope for the best of the future of the industry.